Good morning. It is a beautiful overcast day here on Long Island. And today I'm in a 2023 Tesla Model Y. So being into cars, you don't really come from a place that wants to buy an EV. We're not really that excited about electric vehicles, being that, my whole life, every other car person's whole life, we've been into engines and modifying engines, making them fast, how good they sound, the noises. Everything about your standard car is what we're used to. So an EV is kind of different for us, and so a lot of people in the car community, or a lot of people who are into cars, are very reluctant to give EVs a chance. I think that there is a place in the world for EVs, especially for car people. Is this the best handling, most exciting car I've ever driven? No. Is it an amazing car that I would want to daily drive? Yes. I think this car does a lot of things really well. It is very easy to drive. It has amazing acceleration. It is super comfortable in here. The noise elimination, or the noise deadening, is amazing in here. It is honestly top notch. I think that if people who are into cars gave Teslas, or even EVs as a whole, a chance, they would like them a lot more than they expect. And kind of go into it with an open mind, because that's kind of what I did. At first, I was very reluctant. I was like, they're can't take them on road trips. But I think that not enough people go into it with an open mind and want to enjoy the car. If you want to enjoy a car, you can enjoy it. So right off the bat, my first impressions with the Tesla Model Y, I think it is a decent size. It's not the Model X, which is the really big one. This is kind of more of a crossover, and personally I prefer smaller cars. I've driven a Model S before, and it felt great. It had a yoke in it, actually. It was pretty interesting. But I like the seating position in the Model Y. I don't feel super high off the ground. I don't feel like I'm scraping along the floor. It feels like a very reasonable car that you could sit in and feel safe, but also don't feel like you're hogging the road. So yeah, first impressions with the car is that you get in, and the first thing that happens that nobody tells you about is I'm going to say gas pedal. You can ignore me, the accelerator. The gas pedal doesn't work like you'd expect it to. In a normal car, you get off the gas and you're coasting. In a Tesla, or most EVs, I'm assuming, you get off the gas and the car just starts stopping. Like, if I am off the gas right now, the car will come to a complete stop. And I haven't touched the brakes. Have not touched the brakes, and I just came to a full stop. I have actually, in the 3 days that I've driven this car, I have never touched the brakes, aside from putting the car into park or putting it into drive. Other than that, coming to stop signs, stopping at stoplights, stopping in traffic, I've never once had to put my foot on the brake pedal. When you take your foot off of the accelerator, it regenerates the electric battery. As you can see right here, there's a green line that shows how much regeneration there is and how much usage there is. I think it's honestly a pretty cool feature, and at first it is weird to get used to the not coasting and just stopping, but give it about 10 minutes and it comes second nature, and I honestly love the way it feels. It makes the car really easy to drive and really kind of user-friendly. And user-friendly is, I think, what Tesla was aiming for. Everything in this car is very streamlined toward the user, trying to make it easier for the driver to drive and kind of just to enjoy a driving experience rather than having to worry about things. This whole infotainment system in the middle here, it has everything. Some things are not as intuitive, but a lot of things in the infotainment are very intuitive. You click on the car and you have all of your settings. You can adjust your mirrors, your steering wheel, everything. Child lock, every setting is in here. Lights, display, trips, navigation, autopilot, your charging settings, your pedal and steering settings. So a lot of people, I think the biggest complaint with Teslas is the interior quality. And honestly, I was skeptical about it because of how much I heard about the poor interior quality. And I can see where they're coming from. It it's not as bad as people make it out to be, but it definitely could be better. I feel like if you were to buy a Tesla, you shouldn't hope for a luxury car, because in my opinion, this isn't really a luxury car, and it's not really like a sports car or an exotic or a fancy car. It's not like a Mercedes. It's not like an Audi or a Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever you may depict it to be. I think what you're paying for with a Tesla is the batteries, because they do have decent range and a whole lot of horsepower. This car has about 425 horsepower stated from Tesla. It weighs around 4,500 pounds, give or take. But it boogies. Even going, like right now I'm going about 70 miles an hour, I could punch the gas and I would accelerate like crazy. It picks up like you wouldn't imagine at any speed. There is no higher or lower and lower speeds or anything like that. I think its peak acceleration comes around 40 to 50 miles an hour is when you're really going to feel it kick up the most. So based on what I feel on the interior, I like the steering wheel. It is a comfortable steering wheel. The material is pretty nice too. It's soft and I do enjoy it. I like the hand controls. There are these little knobs that you can scroll up and down and then push left and right as well. Other than that, there's nothing on the steering wheel besides those two knobs, but they get everything done. You can control everything else through the infotainment system. The stocks are, pretty basic stocks. You push in for the wipers, and it's pretty much all you do when you're driving this car, unless you want to go into cruise control, which is right here, and then you can just let the car, kind of do a regular cruise control with adaptive cruise control, so it'll keep a certain distance between you and the car in front of you. It also has an interesting way of using handles from the outside and the inside. From the outside, you have to kind of push in with your thumb and then pull out. It's very interesting, and a lot of people, I think, don't get it immediately. From the inside, it's kind of same thing. It's not super intuitive. There's a little button right here, and you push in the button and the door pops open. It has two nice cup holders with a nice compartment in the front. You can kind of put a lot of things in there, honestly. And then there's another compartment over here in the middle of the center console where there's a lot more storage as well. So the car does have a lot of interior storage for what it is compared to, I guess, cars that I'm used to, smaller cars, sports cars. I'm a big fan of this wood grain. I think wood grain is on the interior is one of my favorite when it's done nicely. I'm not really a big fan of the 90s fake wood trim, vinyl trim. But if you look at newer luxury cars and even this car, even the BMW i3, I really like the way they do the wood trim in these cars. I think it's great. So with the AC controls, we have, you swipe up and it gives you this whole kind of view. The vents are that one little crack all the way along the dash, and that's where the vents are, and you can kind of split them up. It's very interesting, and you can kind of make the air blow out however you like it to, up or down. Also, it's very cool. Alright, so let's get a little more highway merging acceleration going on here. Take a look at that speed. It just doesn't stop going. It's so fast. Jeez, and it's an effortless amount of fast. I step on it and it just goes. I don't have to downshift. I don't have to wait for the automatic transmission to do its thing. It just kicks you. It just kicks you back in your seat, and honestly, I don't know if it'll ever get old. It is very fun. Oh my god. It's addictive. It's actually so addictive to just punch that pedal. So, what do I like and what don't I like about the 2023 Tesla Model Y? Off the bat, my favorite thing is, I think, the driving experience and the acceleration. It is addictive, it is a rush, and it'll never get old for me. I like the way that the steering wheel feels. I think it is very comfortable. I like the way it handles the road. It's very quiet and refined almost in quality of ride. It feels very comfortable to drive. There's not a lot of noise coming in. It handles bumps and potholes pretty well. I like the visibility. You get a lot of visibility out the front, the sides, blind spots. Even with the cameras on the infotainment, you can kind of see everything that's around you at all times, and it is a very useful feature. And overall, I think I like the way it just feels sitting in here. It's very almost zen. It has a great feel of simplicity, and it's clean, and they don't have too much going on. It's just, it is what it is, and it feels kind of futuristic. What I don't like about it so much, The quality, it could be better. I mean, these seats are kind of like, they feel like almost like a plasticky kind of like rubbery leather. It's obviously fake leather. Um, I'm not a huge fan of not having anything directly in front of my steering wheel. I kind of wish they condensed the infotainment system and put it in front of the steering wheel, or if they had like a heads-up display like they have in the newer Accords and the BMWs that I've seen. I know a lot of other cars have it too, where, you know, at least give me what my miles per hour is kind of on a heads-up display in front. I know they do like the reflective glass type of thing. It has a great sound system, so I really cannot complain there. I can't really display the sound system that well on video. I mean, I can try. I'll throw on some music. Okay, now that I've driven the 2023 Tesla Model Y for a bit, I'm going to give it a score out of 64. I'm going to rate it on 8 categories. Each one of them is out of 8. So, first on our list, we have comfort. I'm going to give it an 8 because it is honestly a very comfortable car to drive. I could easily get into this car every day, and it wouldn't, make me feel uncomfortable or stressed like a lot of sports cars kind of would. For room and space, I give it a 7. There is a good amount of space in here, but I think it could be a little bit better for the trunk. It kind of swoops down a lot, and you miss a lot of space at the opening of the hatch. For finish and interior quality, I give it a 5. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but it definitely could use a little bit of work. There's creaks here and there. The quality, the materials they use, they're nice in some spots, but then they cheap out in other spots. That's just honestly how I view it. So for value, I'm going to give the car a 6. I think that a lot of people think Teslas are very expensive cars, and I think it just depends on which model you get. Something like a Model 3 or a Model Y is a bit more reasonably priced than maybe your Model S or your Plaid or your X, which are more high-performance vehicles. But I wouldn't view it as a luxury car or an exotic or expensive car. It's more of just, it's an EV. If you look at other EVs, they're also expensive. On to the performance category, we're going to talk about handling, and I'm actually going to give it a 6. It is very impressive, and you would not expect the car to be 4,500 pounds. It is pretty nimble, and it takes on-off ramps very easily. And in terms of acceleration, I give it an 8 out of 8. It is very impressive, and any person I take into this car who knows Teslas, I know they're fast, this and that, I step on the gas, the accelerator, and they still get surprised. It pulls you back and then continues to suck you in. For tuning potential, performance potential, I gotta give it a 2. You can't modify it really. You can, I guess, take all the weight out of the interior, but that's not even most of the weight. You could put sticky tires on it, but it's not even spinning the tires as it is. Maybe something like a Model S or a Plaid would be had more potential with gutting and sticky tires, but the Model Y doesn't have much potential to be more of a sports car than it already is. In terms of appearance, this is pretty much just opinion. I'll have to give it a 3 out of 8. I don't think it looks all that special. It is sleek and elegant, but it doesn't look refined or like an art piece like a more luxurious car would look. It kind of just feels like your basic SUV that has had a few things erased from it to make it look more simple. So with all that into account, it gives us a total score of 45 out of 64, which is pretty good on the ratings. I did enjoy driving this car. One of my favorite cars to review so far. But yeah, I did like the 2023 Tesla Model Y. If you have a car you want me to review, or if you want me to review your car, please let me know. I will be happy to. Thank you for watching, and I hope you join me next time.